I hope this advice helps somebody out. It is totally worth it. It is totally worth it. I mean, this view is gorgeous. I don't have any Lambos. This is just where I live. I took a nice little hike. I'm not out on the beach. This is just where I live. It's beautiful to get out here and feel this internally. That's how it should be, even when we trade. So, subscribe and like, and I help anybody who wants to help, because God knows how much I needed that help when I was down in my low. It is a brutal grind. It can take a whole lot from you. It can make you question all kinds of things about yourself, but the light is at the end of the tunnel, I promise you that. So I decided to make this video about my trading journey. It has been a brutal grind to get here. A lot of us go into this journey thinking that it's going to be easy money. It just feels like you're so close to cracking the code, and you're getting closer and closer to cracking the code. But the truth is, you never really crack the code. And I'm going to try to make this video about the things I could have done to cut my learning time in half. I don't think it needs to take as long as it did, but there were some things that I thought that just weren't the case. I just kept thinking that I'm getting closer and closer to cracking this code, but there's no code to crack. I think the easiest thing to say is what worked for me after losing tens of thousands of dollars trying to figure it out over the course of about 3 years. I just needed something precise, something exact, and a strategy. The simpler the strategy, the better. I needed to know the entry. I needed to know the exit. I needed to know how many contracts to put on. I needed to know the stop loss, the take profit. I needed to know the percentage of my account that I should be trading. And then, because it was so precise, I started seeing what I was doing wrong. The solution wasn't another strategy. The solution was to follow a strategy. And I started to realize that I was the problem because I wasn't following the strategy. But until I had something precise, I didn't really know that. I was the one not following the strategy, but therein was my greatest discovery, that I was also the solution. I was also the way out. Once I realized that, I didn't need to strategy hop anymore. I just needed to fix what was between my 2 ears. After finishing that made all the difference. It seems like we keep trying to think that there's something else missing, and there never really was anything else missing. Knowing what I know now, I actually think people are a lot closer than they think. I think a lot of people are a lot closer than they think. They're usually just a few tweaks away, but they don't always know what those tweaks are. I didn't know what the problem was. I didn't know that I was the problem, and I didn't know how to become the solution, that I later was the solution, until I followed something extremely precise. I just have a basic strategy, no indicators, just support, just resistance, when to get in, when to get out, and I don't even care what happens in between, because the probability is really all that matters. I don't need a bunch of stuff to clutter my charts to make me worry about what's going to happen, because it's a probability game in the end. The more I tended to care about it, the more I tended to fudge it up, because I was the problem, but I also became the solution. So, and I think that's how it is in life. We just need to focus on the things that we can control, and then let the rest take care of itself. I don't have to stake too much of my account on any one trade. It really doesn't matter if it wins or loses. Like, if I was moving my stop because I was afraid to be wrong, or because I couldn't afford to be wrong and I really wanted it to go my direction, I had too much on the trade. I cared too much about the trade. If it was about to hit my take profit and my target goal, and I was quickly moving my stop up because I didn't want to lose what I had already gained, I cared too much about the trade. If I was chasing or FOMO trading, I cared too much about the trade, cared too much about the outcome. If I didn't follow my rules and tried another strategy, I cared too much about the outcome. And I really think that made a very big difference for me. Because sometimes when we care too much, we get in our head too much, and then we just mess up the things that are just small and simple things. Yeah. So I think becoming the solution was probably the fact that I learned from trading really precise entries, exits, knowing exactly where my stop should be, knowing exactly where my entry should be. Because if I didn't have that, I was constantly changing. I had reasons to change because I didn't have all the answers. But once I had those things, just making it really simple, I didn't have a reason to change anything else. And then I found out that I was actually the one not following the strategy because I cared too much. And I think learning to let go made a huge impact on me, because after I followed precise rules, found out I wasn't following precise rules, then I had to learn, okay, well, why am I not doing that? Because I cared too much. So usually when I cared too much, I put too much on the trade. I cared too much if that single trade made a difference, rather than looking at the long impact of 50 to 100 trades. It was so freeing, man. It was so freeing. Like, I didn't have to win every single trade. I didn't have to, like, ruin my entire day, that I didn't even want to hang out with my kids anymore because, like, I was in such a bad mood. I wasn't, like, yelling at them. Shoot, I don't even care if they come downstairs anymore when I'm trading anymore in the basement. I don't even care, because I don't have to win every single trade. It's just too much pressure. And technically, it's not even what the probability says. It's not even what the system and this trade and the setup says. Like, I don't have to win every single trade, and I don't have to put too much on the trade. My life doesn't depend on that one trade. My finances don't depend on that one trade. And if they do, the probability says, well, there are times where it's going to lose. So that's just dumb. Learning to let go. Let go, let go, let go. And it's not that I don't care, because I still trade, right? And I have several accounts that I copy trade. But it's that I don't care about any one single outcome. And if I do, it shows that I'm not in the right phase of trading. So that is my biggest lesson that I'd love to pass on. Yeah, I'll show you. I think learning to do that is the biggest thing. And it can be learned. It can be trained. People can learn to let go. And that's what I'd love to pass on to people. So yeah, go ahead and subscribe and like. And I'd be more than happy to show anybody how to do that. That is my forte. That's what I've been doing for years in psychology. Because sometimes when people care too much, they get in their head too much, and they fudge it up too much. And I was doing the same thing, funny enough, even though that's what I had been training people to do in psychology. But now I'm in day trading. So, yeah, I hope this advice helps somebody out. It is totally worth it. It is totally worth it. I mean, this view is gorgeous. I don't have any Lambos. This is just where I live. I took a nice little hike. I'm not out on the beach. This is just where I live. It's beautiful to get out here and feel this internally. That's how it should be, even when we trade. So, subscribe and like, and I hope anybody who wants to help, because God knows how much I needed that help when I was down in my low. It is a brutal grind. It can take a whole lot from you. It can make you question all kinds of things about yourself, but the light is at the end of the tunnel. I promise you that. All right. Hope this helps somebody out. Hope to see you in the future. Hope to help anybody who needs it. God bless.